Welcome back to my channel, everyone. Street Tips here. Here's our trim circuit card fingers with the gold foils removed. This is after all the metal's been taken away and they're clean, absolutely no gold on them. These are in the trash to be disposed of. Now what we'll do is pull this solution here down. This is the 2.5 kilos of trimmed fingers that we just did. I'm going to get in here and do a status test on this. These are the barren fingers with no gold on them, sitting in some dilute hydrochloric acid. Maybe look at this status test. It's barren. There's absolutely nothing in this solution. So we'll just add the solution to the stock pot and then get rid of the phenolic fiberboard as trash. I've got small traces of gold left inside these containers. So what we're going to do here, I'm going to add some hydrochloric acid to this, just enough to cover the bottom of the beaker. Now I'll add some nitric acid, a couple milliliters, and what that'll do is that'll dissolve all those traces of gold down in the bottom of this beaker. That's the best way to get all that out of there that I've found. I'll stick it up here and add a little heat to it. While I'm waiting for that to react, got another beaker here with traces of gold in it. And so what we'll do is just add a little bit of hydrochloric acid to this. Add a pinch of nitric acid. And this is the best way to get the traces of metals out of the bottom of these beakers. It doesn't rinse out well, no matter how much rinse fluid you use to try to get it out of there. A little bit of the gold always stays in there, so it's best to just go ahead and dissolve it like this. That's to ensure you get every bit of it. There's a little gold down in the bottom of this beaker, and there's some gold down in the bottom of this flask. And that solution in there contains a little bit of gold. This is the rinse from a funnel. Probably won't be that much, but since we're going after just traces, we'll try to include this little bit of gold that's in this solution in with this recovery. Got this boiling back here from the heat, and so we'll add that solution down into this beaker that's got a little bit of gold in it. And what I'll do is I'll use some hydrochloric acid to rinse this beaker out and get all the gold. Nice and clean now. I don't know why this does this. Still got a little bit of gold down at the bottom of this beaker. I'll put some more concentrated aqua regia on it. You see that down there? It just will not rinse out of there, and it's hard to get it to go into solution. This is our filter flask with a little bit of gold in solution. There's the status test right there. Not much, but enough to, since we're doing this, let's go ahead and try to recover it. There's some metallic gold down on the bottom of this, so I'm going to add a few drops of nitric acid, try to get this to dissolve. I've got this hot aqua regia back here. Everything's dissolved. I'm gonna go ahead and add some of this to this flask and see if we can get the rest of that gold to go in solution. I've got one more beaker down here that's got some traces, small pieces of gold in it. So what we'll do is let's go ahead and add these solutions that have aqua regia in them. We'll rinse with hydrochloric acid. That flask back. We finally got all the gold in this big beaker to dissolve. Mix that into here. Here we go. Let's put our solution from this hot beaker and dump that into this main beaker here that we're going to use to try to do this recovery. Let's take a look at this filter that has some gold in it. I'm just going to go ahead and add this right on in. You can see the gold glistening crystals. Add this right on into this solution now. Let's cover this up and put it up on some heat. I'm going to boil it good and hard. There's some probably a whole bunch of excess nitric in there. I'm going to try to get all that gold to go in solution, do a recovery on this, and see how much gold is in our waste beakers. Pull this down off the heat now. Reach in here and get me a status test. Let's see what kind of precious metals we've got in solution here. Just when you need it, man. That's a pretty decent stain right there. The reason I do this is because I cool the solution without adding any additional volume to the solution. Got our solution cooled off. And what we'll do now is go ahead and filter this out. Not sure why this does this. There's still some gold down at the bottom of this beaker. And what we'll do is just put some hydrochloric in here. Add a little bit of nitric acid. Try to get that to dissolve. And then I'll just dump that into my temporary waste container rather than trying to include this recovery. Not a whole lot, but enough to a respectable amount. So now we're going to add some SMP, sodium metabisulfite, precipitate out the pure gold. Here we go. 1 spoon should do it here. Adding 1 more spoon of SMP. Looks pretty decent. Let's get another status test. Make sure we got all this gold precipitated out. Oh yeah, that's a negative status test. There's no more gold in that solution. That looks like a decent amount of gold there. Gosh, that might be our 3 grams that we're missing from the. God, there's more in there than I expected. This is all just from our waste filters and solutions from this last refining of 2.5 kilos of trimmed fingers that we did. Came up 3 grams short on that recovery, and we may be very close to making that up right here. Just gonna add this little trace that we dissolved out of this big beaker right into my temporary waste container. Now we'll pour the waste solution off our recovered gold. Looks like a pretty decent amount down in there. See that? Gold down in the bottom of the beaker. Looks good. Now what we'll do is rinse it off a couple times with some water. It's suspending a little bit, so I'll let this sit down here and settle. So I want to try to get the most gold out of here that I can. This is looking really good, and I don't know how all that gold ended up in that filter, but there was a ton of gold in that filter, obviously. Alright, there's our gold. What we'll do is we'll pour some, that might be 3 grams. Poured some hydrochloric acid in there, and we're going to set it up on the heat and give this a boil in some hydrochloric acid. Let's dump off this hot hydrochloric acid. Man, the gold really looks good in there. that's not going to be a lot. Loss there going into my waste container. Now we'll rinse this with a little water. I'm going to let that settle out because it is kind of suspending a little bit. Off this rinse water. Man, that gold looks really good up there. Almost red looking. Let's get this gold down into a melt dish. Here's our little gold button. Man, this thing came out looking really good too. I mean, it looks very close to being 3 grams that we're missing from our previous refining. Let's see what we got here. 2.6. That's pretty close. I've still got these trimmed fingers, probably more than half of them left from that group that I bought on eBay. And what we'll do is we'll use a different technique to try to recover the gold and make a video about that coming up next. So we'll offer this for sale on the eBay site. This will conclude the video. Thank you for watching.